If you've been watching my channel, you probably saw my video where I did a big cross-country road trip with the new Exie XC. I had that bike attached to the back of my motorcycle with a 2x2 cycles rack. What you didn't see was that my two-wheel gong show is actually a highly refined example of preparation and precaution. The story actually starts back in April, when on a rainy evening I drove out to Richland, Washington, the far east side of the state, rented a trailer, went and got a great deal on this 2014 Suzuki VSTROM, the daddest of the dad bikes. My goal was a setup that was safer than the DRZ 400 that I had back in Sedona, and something I could use for some whole new adventures. If there's anything I'm better at than stumbling over voiced over narrated videos, it's just going for random trips to random places. So sure enough, I took this new to me VSTROM 1000 and just randomly shot over to Leavenworth, Washington for my first inaugural trip. Well, I posted a video from that trip up here, and this video here is indeed the sequel, the missing chapter between the video you all saw about the XC road trip and that first Leavenworth trip. With heavy rain absolutely dumping, I ended up leaving early the day after I had planned to. Packing for these trips can take hours. While spending another night camping would have been awesome, it also sounded good to me to skip riding in the rain, potentially in the dark, and to leave with supposed sunshine of the next day. Cue the next day, no sunshine. Still being relatively new to the VSTROM, I was terrified of riding in the wet. Traction control on max and my own nerves on red alert, I found that I wasn't actually getting too cold or too wet. Everything was working. Yeah, it turns out that with good preparation, riding in the rain isn't really as miserable as I had thought it'd be. Who knew? With my daughter's second favorite stuffy in tow, it was my duty to send home pics and video clips from the adventure that Frog and I would share together. Frog reported warm conditions from inside the tank bag, though that pesky little bugger kept eating all my snacks. Once we finally made it to our dirt road, I twisted the throttle at what we could call a moderate amount. This motorcycle is like 80% street, 20% dirt. And that 20% dirt is a very optimistic 20%. At the pace of, maybe a highly caffeinated retiree, I made my way up the extremely rugged road. Well, rugged if you're accustomed to paved roads. It was mellow enough that a Camry with flat tires could make it up. I stopped for a photo moment and noticed my Ripley is pointing sideways on the bike rack. Good morning, guys. Hope you're all doing well. I'm out here in the beautiful mountains on a camp out with my 4-year-old daughter. We're gonna pedal up to the golden yellow larch trees because it's that time of the year that the larch trees are going from that beautiful green to that vibrant yellow golden color.
We're almost there.
Well, it's gonna be a lot of pedaling from the van up to the trees, and I'm gonna be not just pedaling myself, but I'm gonna have my daughter on a kid seat on the bike, so I'm gonna be moving 2 humans up the mountain. With the goal of staying hydrated, I've been using these Element electrolyte mixes in my water bottles. I just add 1 packet per water bottle, and I've noticed that helps me stay way better hydrated on these higher elevation, hotter temperature days. The Element electrolyte mixes are fully natural. They're really just all about having more sodium, potassium, and magnesium, which are the essential electrolytes you need when you're sweating a lot. I want to give a big thanks to Element for supporting me in these videos. And if you'd like to try these Element electrolyte packets, I've got a link below in my YouTube description, and only for my audience here, it'll take you over to the Element website where you can get a free sample pack of the Element flavors. They want $5 to cover the cost of shipping, but you too can give these a try. I usually put 1 in my water bottle, and then I run a full hydration pack to have a mix of regular water and some electrolytes, and that's been working well for me through the summer and here into the fall. All right, it's gonna get warm soon, so we gotta start pedaling, so I'm gonna check out and get up there to the larch trees. Peace, guys. Sure enough, the crank arm holder had released the crank arm, and the fork mount for the bike had bent severely sideways. This is why you don't see that same fork mount in the newer videos.
Bike rack's caving in, bike super off kilter.
Even worse, I noticed I dropped a bungee cord, so I had to go back and get that. Only to drop the motorcycle in the sand and bend a handguard mount. Found my bungee cord. Round number 2. Maybe I can cheer up a little bit. I just bent my handguard tipping over back there. Who knows if I've done anything else. Whatever, let's make lemonade out of this and perhaps find a built not bought sticker to cover the new scratches. After all, every scratch has a story to tell.
Try again, guys. This might be my campsite.
With the adventure of making it to the trailhead in the rain basically complete, now it was time for the next step of the trip. That's right, the mountain bike.
Trailhead's right over there, random campsite. Gonna have a campfire tonight,
bike's still on the rack. Hasn't destroyed itself yet, but man, it is gonna fall right off. Let's see where it's cracking and giving way. The paint is chipping off. The metal has lost its strength. The bike is sitting extra cockamamie. Oh yeah, my right side handguard bent a minute ago. Knoppy tires came in handy. Helmet with skulls. Craigslist special, complete with Bluetooth. And you know who I brought?
Hi, my name's Frog.
I'm sure all of you with kids out there can relate with the dad voice. Sorry, not sorry. What's up, boys and girls? I just motoed on into here a minute ago. Haven't tipped over right here yet, but I'm sure I will tomorrow on the way out. I'll set up camp when I get back after I warm up by the fire. I'll set up camp down there in the little gully so that the wind doesn't get me. This is a trail a friend told me about 6 years ago and I've yet to ride, so let's check it out. So it's pretty sandy dirt up here on this ridge. Into the wild. Here we go. Trail's already dusty. Let's get a shot with Froggy in front of the rainbow. I showed little Froggy the rainbow and Froggy said, "Wow, I want to show Mama." So we went ahead and took a picture and a video for you. Well, this trail looks like it's gonna be a straight line. So we're gonna do some wheelies and have some fun. Out in the boonies right now, so I gotta play it a little conservative. Ooh, nice. This kind of trail isn't over the top technical, so riding a shorter travel bike like the Ripley works pretty darn well. Now the secret here is that I was actually training to ride the even shorter travel Ibis XC. See all the way out to Eastern Washington. GoPro, what do I need to do to make sure that you actually record everything you say you will? GoPro, I feel like our relationship has trust issues. Ooh. This is our trail. All right, let's not fall down the cliff. It's not even a cliff, it's just a hill. Nice. Catch some moto whoops. I wonder if it's at all fun to watch a video where the guy's like, "Let's be careful," the whole time. I would kind of guess no. Here, I'll show you guys this butte on the left. The yellow gold on it. Oh, in the sunset, it's spectacular. That's pretty cool. It's my Ripley. Woo-wee. Places like this that you just stumble across, A+. This is mountain biking to me. Dude, this trail sucks. You can't even ride the whole thing. You know what? I'd rather hike a little bit on a true backcountry trail than ride one of these modern day sidewalk trails. The mountain bike on motorcycle approach is super fun, but the one thing these videos don't really convey is how much of a hurry you've got to be in. It's a lot of stuff to get ready to go motorcycling. It's a lot of stuff to break down and then convert yourself into mountain bike mode. And you might end up with a little less daylight than you would otherwise. But I feel like the extra taste of adventure makes it that much more worth it. Right when it's all peaceful and quiet, your daughter rings and tells you she loves you. That is good. The sign says multi-use trail. Please slow down and be courteous to other trail users. Give them the right of way. If you're coming down fast, slow down. If you're trying to go down really fast, definitely slow down. Yep, it's snowing, guys. Ride in the rain on the motorcycle. You go for a mountain bike ride in the snow and camp in a hammock. It either sounds like a crummy weekend or a cool adventure. Leave me your note in the comments. What do you think it sounds like? Like, it sounds like fogged up glasses. Man, it really is snowing. This is ridiculous. Just having a hard time predicting the weather for out here because the altitude changes it so much. Oh, almost gapped that, and I was like, nope, at the last second. These moto whoops are super fun on the mountain bike. Yes. This dirt's super sandy. Man, terrain's amazing. All right. That was a good drifty corner back there. The Ripley's a little bit of an interesting choice for this. Normally I take a longer travel bike, but I've been riding those a bunch lately. And while I like them, I just plain old miss this little thing. I feel like I needed to refresh myself what Ibises feel like. Feel pretty good. This thing's a little short travel for my tastes.
This actually brings up a pretty good point. I had a whole video written up about what length travel which rider should choose, and on bigger mountains, faster trails, I generally feel that the longer travel bikes make more sense. Now on flatter trails that don't have as much actual elevation, that don't get as steep and fast, the shorter travel bikes have a bit of an advantage.
Ah, the motos had to go around the tree. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's a go around and what's a different trail. This is actually some of my favorite stuff to ride because you get a mix of adventure with not only the riddle of figuring out the logistics, whoa, whee, but you also get the riddle of figuring out a different type of trail than the average mountain bike flow trail you'll find in Washington State. Man, I didn't realize it was that rocky and I was coming up this. Ha ha ha, that was a cool double. Didn't you say you were gonna be careful? Good point, I did. There's like the second corner. This trail's got like 10 corners total. So I gotta be a little careful. There we go. Oh my gosh, this is sick. So to get through that switchback, I didn't use the front brake. Made it much easier. Front brake, let go. Okay. Down. Let's not fall down this. All this junk on the right can catch your pedal pretty quick. Why didn't you bunny hop it? Good point. It's because I didn't feel like doing the scoop. I feel like I'm getting close to the end. Kind of sad, this trail's fun. Uh-oh, I think the stick fell out. Good thing this bike's not carbon. Ooh, that's a good turn. Ah, the lack of the core strength to correct and pull out of that. I'm skipping a lot of workouts lately to work on videos. Cool. Awesome. Motorcycle still here. Food bag is unmolested. Thanks for joining me, everyone. That was super fun. I might even say that's kind of epic. Pretty quick here before the sun's all the way set. I got to figure out where I'm setting up my hammock. I got a tarp over it for tonight. sleeping pad. Hopefully I can be warm tonight because it's a little windy and it's like 45 degrees. I need to make dinner. Might have a campfire if time allows. Got fresh some rice pilaf on. I got my campfire going. Hammock under a tarp. This is moto camping. Dinner's cooking. You excited?
I'm super hungry.
Just added my 2 eggs. Straight up college top ramen style. Now I should cut up my sausage and throw it on in. And add the vegetables in just a moment. Dinner, fire, warm. Small campfire. It's not gonna get too big, so I gotta put it out with my limited water. I got my tarp. Underneath the tarp, got my hammock. And I'm running a frog stuffed animal, memory foam pillow, and I got a Thermarest Z-Rest underneath. So hopefully it works good tonight. Inaugural test run. And then I've got some sausage to throw in there, and I've got some asparagus and collards from the other night that I'm gonna throw in at the very end too. So I got kind of a stir fry, but I have vegetables and protein while camping, not just starch. It's just gonna be instant coffee tomorrow morning. How does that sound? The correct answer is that it sounds great. Time to try this dinner concoction. It looks really good. The sausage is a habanero ranger sausage. It's kind of spicy. Oh man, look at that. So yummy. Yeah, rice pilaf with some collard greens, so some onions, some asparagus, and some sausage, and then 2 eggs. It's the college special.
Good morning. Here we are. Didn't sleep that great in the hammock. I need to figure out how to sleep in the hammock better.
Yum. Good morning, everyone. Breakfast is looking good. Hopefully my bike rack does not completely fall apart on the ride out of here. Curious if I can drop down the other side of the ridge. Maybe there's an adventure on our hands. I got your friend Froggy with me. Good morning, Leanie. And we're about to head down the hill and get over to the next ride spot.
Super tweaked still. So fingers crossed that works. There was a rave going on down the way last night. I slept pretty poorly. Hammocks and I'm not sure we get along, unfortunately, but learn by doing.
All right, campsite, it's been fun. Potential drama is rave could be taking up the road. Cool, crawled right out of there. So I'm curious about this, the continuation of the trail. This is 7 miles long and descends 3,000 feet. I don't know if this is a good idea. Probably not. Yeah, I'm not going up that hill on this bike. That hill's nothing on a motorcycle, on a dirt bike, but on a street bike, that's gonna be like right on the edge of my abilities.
I do have a pretty extensive dirt biking background, but I've not yet ridden this 600-pound contraption off-road a whole lot. It's also got ABS brakes, which is fantastic on the street and in the rain. However, in off-road environments, you really can't get enough stopping power without the ABS kicking in, which means if a hill is steep enough, the brakes are essentially not slowing you down, and it can be a pretty sketcy situation. I didn't want to trash this brand new to me motorcycle trying to ride something that could indeed be a little bit hairball. I want to come back on my DRZ 400.
Here we got the setup. Camping gear, my mountain biking gear. It all fits.
With a few trips under my belt with this crazy contraption, the fun happens on several different levels. First off, it's relatively new to me to do this whole motorcycle, bicycle camping thing, but also you're solving riddles the entire time, making it work. Because really, you should not have a bicycle attached to a motorcycle with multi-day motorcycling gear, with camping gear, with all your mountain biking gear, and then throw in the vlogging equipment. Yeah, it's a lot to take out on a ride, but you know, if I don't try it, I'll always have to wonder, what would it be like?
So the rack's only set up to use clipless pedals. I use flat pedals. So I ended up ditching the quick release thing and toe strapped it in. That seems to work better. That simple little tie down is so critical for holding your bike up. It pulls the weight forwards and really stabilizes it all. I might have to go to 2 tie downs in the future.
Enough chit chat, let's get back on the road. Descending down this dirt road is not a huge deal. I just didn't want my bike to have further damage to the bike rack there. For day 2, I wanted to go ride something a little bit different. I have a local magazine that mentions a lot of the really good local rides, and I had spotted one in there, and you know, it wasn't far as the crow flies from my campsite. However, it was starting from the other side of the mountain. So it was gonna be about 45 minutes or so of motorcycling just to get to the trailhead. On the way, I ran into perhaps the most impeccably maintained dirt road I've ever seen in my entire life. Well, turns out I was making fresh tracks on a fresh road. And here we have one of the advantages of riding a motorcycle with a mountain bike on back. You fit around lots of big stuff. Sections of road like this can be a lot of fun if you have a KTM adventure bike that allows you to lean it over and just steer with the rear wheel, but the V-Strom's a little too heavy and the weight bias is a little bit off for that kind of fun. So sections like this are just fine.
All right, packing up the old backpack here. Definitely gonna have to bring some sustenance. Got a burrito, I got an apple, a bar, a bunch of trail mix, hand sanitizer, and a lighter in case I get stuck in the woods. Then I'm able to burn the woods down, find my way back out. Do I ever wish there was another pocket? Maybe I'll stick my gloves in there. Longest pre-ride ritual of all time. Bee, please do not sting me. Bee, please.
Speaking of bees, numerous times I've been with friends and they've had allergic reactions they weren't expecting, so 1/3 of my first aid kit is indeed Benadryl.
Jacket. Good morning, guys. Thanks for joining me. Had a delicious cup of coffee this morning at Weed's Cafe. I saw the name and had to. Here we go. So apparently this is also an OHV area. Oh man, so many trails out here. Let's send it.
The climb up was going to be probably a couple hours long. My strategy was to bring a second set of clothes and to just kind of hang in there and get to the top.
So I've been seeing these 2 tracks, and sure enough, they're from this machine. Look at that. Little rock hauler. They got a jackhammer in there. That's pretty cool. Good reminder that there's some rad trails in Washington. I just got to get myself a dirt bike again. I think Evelina, in a couple more years, could ride mellower trails like this on a moto. She's pretty good with her brakes on her pedal bike. Any other dads out there ride moto with their daughters? Let me know in the comments below. Pretty substantial creek crossing here. See if we can do it without getting too wet. Not too bad, but I got a foot full of water. Don't come ride here, your feet will get wet. Climbing, 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 climbing.
So right here, my audio recorder's battery died. And if you remember in that Exie XC road trip video, I never once had an issue with battery life. Well, this trip taught me a lesson. And sure enough, the rest of this ride is pretty cool. So I recommend you do tough it out and stick with this video because it's gonna be worth it.
I love the dust. That looks like an option rock front line. There we go. So I pedaled up on that side of the canyon and now I'm on this side. Pretty cool. I think I'm gonna descend this ridge just above this. This climb's like a 4,000 foot ascent. It's pretty legit, but it's super mellow. This trail's super chill. I don't know, it's been what, hour and a half? 2 hours maybe? It's been a while. I think this in front of us is the summit. Someone built a fort right there. I know what that's like. I got a kid that loves making forts. Snaked, no view. There's just another valley. It's been a pretty long pedal up here. Up, 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 up. Premier Northwest experience. For this to be the Premier Northwest experience, it'd be raining, and we don't really want that. Heart-shaped rock for Evelina, huh, Froggy? Ah! I don't know if I can zoom in and show you guys those mountains, but they are lit up in the sun right now. I feel like there's gonna be a spot where all the locals put on their knee pads. Maybe it's up there. My knee pads are already on. I just saved like a minute not having to put on my knee pads. Now we're getting the views. Cool. My warranty from earlier. This has got to be knee pad summit. I was gonna say, if you're ready to descend 4,000 feet, hit the subscribe button. Nice. That moto flow.
Some of you may disagree with me here, and that's totally okay. But trails like this that are open to motorized use, including motorcycles, typically have a pretty fun flow factor to them. Motorcycles have a harder time making the real tight little switchbacks, and it's pretty easy for someone with a moto background to read the terrain on the fly at speed. Furthermore, motos will go down this, closer to 40 miles an hour, and in the mid-20s to the low 30s on a bicycle, it's pretty easy to predict what's coming up, and you have plenty of speed to gap the moto whoops.
Outside. It's pretty dropped out. A lot of moto traffic.
Yeah, big mountains out there.
Cool little viewpoint. I'm just gonna blow by because I've got to get home. And this bobsled run has me pretty pumped. There's the trail I pedaled up earlier. It's way down there. Yeah, that's a consequence cliff right there. Glad I didn't try to come up this. Jeez, that's steep. Never looks steep on GoPro, but that's the steepest trail I've seen around here. One thing I didn't expect about Washington is the amount of cool mountain ranges.
If there's one section of this trail that's prototypical for the central and eastern Washington style of mountain biking, it would be this section right here. You're going pretty fast, you've got an actual cliff somewhat close by, and the trail is pretty predictable. This is a very different experience than the wet, rooty, and snotty, and more technical trails that we have out here on the western side of the state.
Woo! That right there was a good section of trail. It's rad. That was a good corner.
Honestly, to this day, I can still remember the feel of my tires slipping slightly sideways on that tight right-hand corner. One of the best corners of the season for me.
There we go. That was a nice one too. I like the sandy, dusty dirt. I'll just pretend that was a stick and not a snake back there.
A lot of folks comment on how low my handlebars get to the ground when cornering. Well, I've been trying to get my bike leaned over as much as I comfortably can in turns for over a decade now. To me, it just feels correct because you start weighting your tire's side knobs by pushing the bike down, but keeping yourself a little bit more upright. This in turn means you get plenty of grip on the loose, soft soil. It also just feels really cool when you've got the bike leaned over and you're cranking through a turn and you start pulling back on the handlebars to pump yourself forwards. It's almost kind of like a snowboarding feel. I really enjoy it.
Whole different little microclimate. Oh, keep your line. Don't hit the big Jeffrey pine. Hey pup, how's it going? Hey there. How are you? Cool. Hey! She got me a little bit there.
Oh, sorry.
Bye, pup.
In early springtime, when the sun starts to actually shine again in Washington State, our vegetation starts growing fast. This is when I like to put handguards on my bike.
That was one heck of a ride. Thank you all for joining me. If you enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments, what other places do you want to see a Hoopty Moto mountain bike combo adventure to? Let me know down below. All right, guys, I gotta frantically get dressed, get on the road, and get home before it gets rainy and dark. Peace out.
Time to get off to the interstate and then get across the state. I figured just throw on the rain pants so that it doesn't actually rain on the way home. Right? That's how things work, right? I think so.
I absolutely love trips like this. The adventure aspect of just finding a spot on the map, thinking, hey, that might be worth a trip, planning so that nothing silly happens, but not overly planning. Because if you try too hard to make sure you don't have any surprises, well, that leaves no more room for adventure. It's also a lot of work to plan everything, and you know what? I'm kind of always in a hurry, no matter what I do. I have a little inside bit of knowledge for all of you. I actually sold this motorcycle about 2 weeks ago. Yes, goodbye Suzuki. Now, I did film a couple other big adventures, so don't worry, there's more videos coming and they're all super fun. But I'm trying to get my ducks in a row for more adventures like this on a motorcycle that's better suited for some off-road stuff. I'm thinking KTM Adventure 1090, maybe a 990 if I can try one out and see how it goes. Maybe even a 790 or 690, I don't know yet. I don't love riding these motorcycles on the highway. I feel so incredibly lucky, thanks to all of you, that I get to ride my bike a couple times a week, make little videos about that, and support my family through basically those efforts. A huge crash on a motorcycle like this could totally end everything I've worked for and take away my ability to ride a bicycle. Now, you can't live your whole life in fear, and I'm still gonna ride motorcycles, but I wanna take my chances more carefully. Since I don't love riding the highway, I might go for more of a mid-sized adventure bike, like a KTM 690, that I can put on the back of my van and then drive to the backcountry and then do more off-road focused rides with a mountain bike on back. But then, I'm still at the whole dilemma of having the bike rack survive being pounded off-road. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this video, please drop me a note in the comments down below. Where else should I head out to with the mountain bike motorcycle combination? Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the comments and in the next video. Peace, everyone.